So JP Morgan's finally staging a bit of a rally this morning. The stock's up for the first time since Jamie Dimon announced the firm had lost $2 billion or more in some rather wacky trades in its Treasury division. But even so, it's still down about 16% from where it was 2 weeks ago. And the one question that hasn't really come up so far yet is, what does this mean for Jamie Dimon, and does the bank have someone to take over from him if he goes? Now, Rob, you've looked at this and you've reintroduced into the Breaking Views lexicon the wonderful phrase of putting two ferrets in a sack. What's
Well,
your
figuratively
take on this?
speaking, putting two ferrets in a sack is a sort of time-honored tradition on Wall Street, where you take two people who you think are promising executives and you put them in as co-heads, or you give them sort of, competing jobs, and you hope that one of them emerges, as a potential leader or CEO, and the other, may also emerge in some leading position, or is sort of becomes the vice chairman of Bolivian Equities. And
one of those wonderful please leave soon positions.
Right. But so there is the equivalent of that going on right now at JP Morgan, and that's really the response to the crisis, to the whale fail.
So who have you identified then? Because you've actually come up with a couple of characters who are not necessarily immediately in line for the throne.
Most people say Jez Staley, who runs the investment banking division, would be the guy to slot in for Jamie if he were fired or thrown under the bus, whatever it is, because he's around the same age. He's done asset management, he does the investment bank, which is still at the end of the day the most complex part of the business. So everyone sort of sees Jez as that guy, the safe pair of hands who could run in.
So he's the one who comes in now if
what I'm pointing out in this column is that there are two sort of younger executives. One is Matt Zames, who is the co-head of fixed income, and he's now basically in charge of cleaning up the chief investment office, unwinding these trades, and making things better, and basically minimizing losses.
Which is a big role, given the CIO office was the woman who held the
Ina Drew.
Ina Drew was one of the top 5 executives at the bank.
She was the third highest paid executive. So this is a big job for Matt Zames. He's 41, a bit young, but a lot of promise there. The other one is Mike Cavanaugh, and Mike Cavanaugh used to be the chief financial officer. He now runs essentially the Treasury Services business, which is a huge
not the
cash.
biggest unit, but it's a good cash business.
Right, but he understands the advantage for Cavanaugh is not only has he been with Jamie Dimon for years, worked with him way back in the day, but went to Bank One with him. He's a trusted confidant. He knows all different parts of the business, having been CFO, and he understands complexity and financial complexity and risk management, and that's quite important.
It's intriguing they put him in rather than the current CFO.
Yeah,
right?
well, his job, Doug Braunstein, but remember, Doug Braunstein, who was an investment banker before, was also a bit caught out in this whole affair because he had sort of diminished or played down the importance of the whale fail stories that came out in April. But Cavanaugh's got a really important job because he's basically been tasked with trying to find out what went wrong, how did the bank respond, and essentially implicit in that is he's going to have to look at the control processes, and he's basically going to have to look at whether Jamie Dimon's management structure.
Because of course Ina Drew, who ran the office before, reported directly to Jamie. She wasn't reporting to the CFO or the risk officer, but directly to Jamie. So if he finds something wrong in the reporting lines, then Jamie Dimon is...
and he's got to have the cojones here and I think the gravitas to if need be, call out some of the deficiencies of the management of the bank. That's a really big job, but that is the kind of thing that might just make him the ferret that jumps out of the sack.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Rob, thanks for that, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Breaking Views.